Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at Mega Meganium with Mega Venusaur. This is a deck that I've been meaning to cover for a little bit, and well, I figured today would be the day that we do it. Because it means we can get a bit more creative thanks to, adding in the Venusaur package. We can add other attackers in general, and well, I think I've found a pretty alright list that I've been working on and stuff like that. So as per usual, in the description below there's going to be usual links, double the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below, as are the timestamps, and of course double the games that we'll play, and of course the outro and what I think of the deck. So of course today, we're only playing one copy of this, however. We are playing the new Mega Meganium EX, with the Giant Bouquet attack. This does 70 plus for 50, and does 50 more, is what I should be saying, and not twisting my words. 50 more damage for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. And obviously if we have the standard Meganium down, that's basically plus 100. So as you can imagine, 1 grass energy is 170, 2 is 270, 3 is 370, 4 is 470, etc. And obviously with the Venusaur package, instead of something like, Energy Switch and Scramble Switch, that is definitely something that, can soon rack up, and it really does, that's for sure. However, because I'm only playing one copy, I find myself not attacking with it very often. And obviously, I'm playing Regigigas in here. Just made the most sense, it deals with Terra Pokemon, and it's just a good single prize attacker anyway. And obviously it would only need 2 energy to use its attack with the Meganium down. I've also added in the new Genesect. This is a surprisingly good card, and I do kind of like this Pokemon. Obviously, Genesect also has the backup attack of Speed Attack, which you do need 2 grass on it. And sometimes that could even be better than going for Bugs Cannon, Fair enough, Bugs Cannon at that point would be doing 80 if you had a Meganium down. But honestly, this Genesect is actually not that it's actually not that bad, and I really enjoy this card. Other than that, I've not added in anything like Badoo or anything like that. I'm only playing 3 Teal Mask. I think 4 is more suited to like a pure Venusaur build, but so far I've not needed a 4th. I think 3 is fine, and I've not really had any complaints throughout that. And then of course we have a 1-1 Toedscool line. I was debating, I think there's a fighting one that's weak to grass. I was debating that one, because, it can attack for 10, but then I was like, so can this, because I play grass energy, so it doesn't really matter which Toedscool you're running, it's the Toedscruel that you need to run with Slime Mold Colony. Obviously we lose this one to rotation, so that's just something we have to bear in mind, and to be honest, it's not a bad thing, and it's definitely going to limit the format in terms of like counters, but given that we're losing Goldengo to rotation, which is the main card that this is countering, I think it'll be fine. So let's go to the deck list and see what we've got. And welcome to the deck list. This has been a deck that, as I said, hasn't really required much in the way of thinking. And the main issue I've been having is, funnily enough, actually getting the Mega Meganium down. Because obviously, I don't have room for a 3-3-2, well, a 3-3-3 line technically, of, Meganium, Bayleef, and Chikorita. And obviously, if we do that, we start adding quite a lot of Pokemon to the list, and it starts to get a bit more clunky. Now, you could probably cut an Ultra Ball and cut a Nest Ball to put in an extra Bayleef and a Chikorita, but I'll be brutally honest, that has been clunky. I've tried it in testing, and it just feels very clunky. So the way I've solved that problem, at least to some extent, is by playing Turos instead of Wallies. The reason for playing Turo, not only are we losing this guy to rotation, but what it means is, if we have the spare Chikorita Bayleef Meganium line in hand, obviously including the Mega, what it means is we can Turo up something like the Teal Mask Ogerpon after we move off with Venusaur, put down the Chikorita Bayleef Meganium with, obviously, Forest of Vitality, which is what we're playing for, and, we can get attacking with the Mega Meganium. The highest number I've hit with Mega Meganium is like 900 damage, I think it is, or at least around about that region. So it soon adds up, and that's sort of why I wanted to play the Turos. Not only is this a good healing card, but also, I kind of want to attack with the Mega Meganium in this video. So we're playing 3 Teal Masks, 2 Chikoritas, 2 Bayleefs, 2 Meganiums, 1 Mega Meganium EX, 2 Bulbasaur, 2 Ivysaur, and 2 Mega Venusaur, pretty standard count. And of course the one Toedscool and one Toedscruel. I've even had to attack with this in testing because I got... Well, I mean, I could have retreated, but attacking with Mushroom Drain was not on my bingo card, so, you know. Then of course we do have Gigas, and of course the Genesect. For supporters we have the 4 Lillies, 2 Iono, 2 Turo, 2 Boss, 2 Dawn, and, well, Dawn is busted in this list because it lets you grab a basic, a stage 1 and stage 2. Yeah, this card is busted. I wish I could play more of them, but to be honest, we have enough Pokemon Search as it is. I don't think we need any more. Then of course we have 4 Bug Catching set, 3 Ultra Ball, 2 Nest Ball, 2 Night Stretcher, 1 Max Rod as our A spec, 1 Counter Catcher, 4 Forest, and 10 Grass. Like I say, the only there are safe cuts, as I like to call them, that you could use to, you know, get a 3-3-3 Meganium line in. You could definitely cut a grass. I've not needed the 10th, that's for sure, but it's just nice to have that 10 because it's a solid safe number. And then, like I said, probably the safest cut is either a Nest Ball or an Ultra Ball because obviously we're playing Dawns anyway. Obviously, there's no way to search these Dawns, and obviously we do play a lot of Bug Catching set as well. But I think that's probably your safest cut if you're finding whiffing, like getting this guy in play. So that's my personal suggestion. But one thing to bear in mind is you'll be going up to 23 Pokemon and obviously going down to 28 trainers and of course the grass as well. You know, like there is something to consider with that, so just bear that in mind. Your deck may become a bit more clunky and you may find, you know, you're drawing into a lot of Meganium pieces, you're not finding your Venusaur pieces, you're not finding your Teal mass, you're not finding your Gigas, you know, things like that. It's just something to consider. Anyway, let's get into a match and see how we do. So the first game, we're up against someone in 423 Mewtwo rank. Obviously, I've not really been playing the ladder the last few days. As you may have seen in the decks part in the intro, I've been looking at the winning Fukuoka list. I don't know how you say it. I'm British. I don't exactly pronounce, you know, Japanese city names for a living. But Fukuoka had obviously the Mega Absol box, or Mega box as everyone calls it, win it. And I've been trying a variant, obviously, without the Meowths, and it's been really fun. I've been talking about it in a couple of Discords, and to be honest, I've been really enjoying it, and I kind of want to, you know, try it for a video soon. Okay, let's see our start. I'll take a Teal Mass start, that's more than acceptable. Are we going first or second? I'm going second, that's fine, because it means we can Iono. Eels and Monkey Dory, that doesn't correlate. There's only one deck I can think of that, you know, does that. And that's that Pormot deck that paralyzes, so we need to be on alert for that. So we're going to bench Chikorita, and we'll Nest Ball, grab ourselves a Bulbasaur. So we've got the second Chikorita in there, so that's good. The Mega is prized, however, but we can get that later. We've also prized one of the single prize Meganiums. That could be an issue, but let's see what we can get first. So I played a Bug Catching set. That's excellent. Oh, that's teasing me now. I think because I'm going to be playing Iono most likely, because obviously they didn't really do a lot, which means they probably have a lot of supporters in hand. I think judging by that, I just take the Grass Energy. Because remember, I'm going to be Ionoing in the second. So that's sort of my thought process here. So we'll use Teal Dance. I might as well attach to the Teal Mask. Should I Ultra Ball? I mean, I could. But Gigas isn't going to be relevant, and I can get Fez back later. So yeah, I will do that. And I'll grab myself the second Chikorita. Bench that, and Iono, because like I said, it didn't really do a lot, so that indicates to me they have a pretty good going second hand. We'll play the Bug Catching set now, we'll take the Venusaur on the grass, and I think I'll leave it at that. Pretty reasonable start. Obviously with the Mega Prize it means we're not going to be using the Mega, because I don't know where it is in the prize cards. But we can live with it. Like I say, I suspect this is that Pormot deck that does Paralyze, and then obviously you move off damage with Monkey Dory would be my solution. And well, they get a Lilies anyway. They're probably playing a high count, to be honest. Eels again. It could be Mega Electric as well. But if so, that's a pretty okay matchup for us. I'm not worried about that. I suspect it is Mega Eel because, you know, it could potentially tank a hit and things like that. I think this is Mega Eel, which I don't know how to feel about that because I don't know how a deck like this would play. Like, I don't know what counts it would play. Because obviously with the version I did a Miraidon box approach. Okay, well there's a Grass Energy, so we can get that on the Teal Mask. There's a Lillie's. Like a Nest Ball. Do I want to grab Genesect? I could. Because then I could Lillie's, grab an Ivysaur, well I could Ultra Ball, Toedscruel, and a Night Stretcher, grab an Ivysaur. I think we're going to do that, because that way I can, you know, potentially go Lillie's, potentially still get Venusaur, but also the, you know, the Pokemon that I need. So, yeah, we're going to do that instead. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to see, I'll be honest. Let's go for a bug catching. There's Bayleef, so that's good. So we'll do that. Because I wanted to try and snipe the Eel this turn, but I was asking for a lot. But, you know, for now, I'll just Mirror Leaf Shower. Take a Tynamo out. It means less, you know, Eels in later. I'm happy with that. And there's the baby Meganium out the prizes, but obviously I don't want that. I want, you know, I kind of want my my Mega to deal with this Mega that's going to be coming out very soon. So there's another energy. There's Lillie's. They're hoping to draw into it. I'd assume they're playing a 2 count of them. Hopefully they don't draw into it, because I know for a fact that the first attack paralyzes, well the second attack, sorry, paralyzes. There's more Eels. If they whiff, it means we have Boss, so that's good. T-Rocket's Crow, or Zubat, okay. I'm starting to see where this is coming from now. And obviously there's the Mega, which that's going to be an issue, I will say. We could still take this out, I think. Let me just do the math. So they are going to paralyze, but we need Turo. That's what we need to do this. Okay, well there's Venusaur, so that's a good start. Okay, obviously with Paralyze you cannot retreat, but you can still use abilities. So that's just something to bear in mind. No, that's not the card I want, I'll be honest. What this does mean is he can Split Bomb. And if he finds Golbat, that does mean we're in trouble. So I'm going to get rid of Bulbasaur and a Lillie's. I'll grab another Ivysaur, just to thin that out the deck. I should have probably grabbed a Bayleef, but it's fine. I'll attach here, and I'll Lillie's. I'll obviously move the energy off the Ogerpon, because I don't want to lose that. There's Dawn. That's pretty good. Okay, we could be okay here, to be honest. So I'll put down the Forest. I'll then Solar Transfer. I'll move 2 to the Genesect, 1 to the Chick, and 1 to the Meganium. And I will just pass. Yes, we can potentially lose this Chikorita, but it's better than losing all 4 of my Grass Energy. Because at least I can go promote the Meganium, Max Rod, get back a Teal Mask. I could potentially knock this out, is what I'm trying to say. We're going to need a lot of energy to do it, though, and if we did have the Mega Meganium, this would be a lot easier. We'd only need 3 to actually knock this out. So we're not in a great position right now, but we could be okay potentially next turn. Because I don't want to Max Rod whilst there's not much in here. If they get the Split Bomb off, we could be in trouble. Attack. Oh, it's Nighttime Mine. I've not seen this card played. But that makes Teal Mask a little bit harder to set up. But to be brutally honest, with a Meganium in play, we only need 2 to actually attack with the Ogerpon anyway. So this card doesn't bother us. There's Dawn. So they're probably going to grab that Team Rocket's Golbat. Yep, there it is. What an interesting deck, I will say. This is quite interesting. They're going to Dynamo to probably to a fresh one. Because they did grab a second Eel, remember. Are they going to use Split Bomb this turn? So they're going to attach to the active. They're probably going to retreat this one, I'll be honest. But They don't have to. They can simply, you know, go into this eel, evolve this one into a Mega Eel. But it's probably correct to just attack with this one. There's Candy. Crobat. Oh boy, this is going to get rough, because this can do it to the active, can't it? I think it can. Yes, it can. Right, well, that's quite bad for us. I'm going to have to promote this Chikorita. Obviously, they've already supported for turns, so they can split bomb and take out this Chikorita, but that is fine with me. I live with that. It does mean we're going to have a lot of work to take out this Mega Eel, so this could get ugly, and obviously we lose our Mega Venusaur, we lose. So obviously they're going to split bomb, take out this Chikorita, and probably hit the Venusaur or the Genesect, and, well, they're going to hit the Genesect, that's fine. So I will promote the Meganium, because obviously we already have the retreat cost covered. And we will draw for turn. That is an excellent top deck. So, I'll play the Max Rod, because then I can get Fez, Teal Mask, Grass, and Chikorita. I don't need Toedscool or Gigas, because they're not going to be relevant in this matchup. So I'll put down the Chikorita. Do I want to put down the second Teal Mask? Probably not. I can actually respond to this with Teal Mask, so it's not a big deal. I probably should have retreated this first, and then, you know, done that, but it's fine. So we'll go into the Teal Mask. I can Teal Dance to get a card. There's a Night Stretcher, so we still get that back anyway, but it does mean we use extra resources. So I'll bench the Fez. We'll Fez for 3. Okay, there's Turo. Excellent. Right, so how much damage do we actually need to do this? So first of all, I'm going to Night Stretcher back that Grass, because that is a hand attachment. So I don't remember the Teal Mask math, so I'm just going to put 5 on, and I think that's enough. Yeah, 390. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach to a Venusaur, just so I have it. Do I want to play this Dawn? Probably not. I'm just going to knock this out with Mirror Leaf Shower. And take 3 prize cards. That could mean we get Mega Meganium off the prize cards, which would be excellent. And yep, there it is. We can potentially finish the game with that. They promote the Monkey Dory. I've not seen any evidence of a Dark Energy, so they're probably playing Luminous Energy. Maybe even a Team Rocket's Energy to attack with this, because, you know, this is quite a bulky attacker, so you never know. It does mean, though, of course, we can move everything onto the Chikorita, you know, go into it with Bayleef Meganium, but we do need to find a Forest of Vitality. So that's something we need to bear in mind. We do need to find the forest. If not, I will just wrap this up with the second Teal Mask in hand, but I would like to attack Meganium if possible. But obviously, that is assuming I can obviously, you know, draw into a forest, which we've only played, I believe, 1, yeah. And there's their A-Spec, Secret Box. Not the A-Spec I'd have thought of for this deck, but, you know. I'd have probably thought Deluxe Bomb myself, but that's just me. You know, buy into the Split Bomb. It's leaning more into, like, the Split Bomb with the Team Rocket's Crobat. It's a really interesting list, I will say. Energy Search, Crispin, Watchtower. Is this a post-rotation list? I think it is, you know. Because, like I said, this is technically relevant, not against this deck, but, you know. I have a feeling this is a post-row build, and if it is, it's really interesting. There's Crispin. Crispin's going to get him a Lightning Energy plus a Dark Energy onto the Monkey Dory. Yeah, like I say, if I can't get, you know, if I can't get Teal Mask out the active, like, if I can't get both Teal Mask out the active and obviously top deck a Forest of Vitality, I'll just wrap it up with the second Teal Mask I have in hand. Because obviously they're not going to be able to knock me out this turn. Because they discard 2 energy, so yeah, we can still knock this out. Obviously they paralyze us, but we just move everything to the Venusaur, Turo, go into this Teal Mask. We could still get this, so let's draw with a Teal Mask draw. And there it is, that's Forest. So, let's do that first. So bump the stadium. I'll go into Bayleef, Mega Meganium. I'll solo transfer. I'm not going to waste this guy's time. But I'm just going to move all the energy here. Turo the Ogerpon. And I'm not going to move up all the energy. Big fat smack for 670 damage. I could have done like 770, but nah, I don't want to waste my opponent's time any more than I have to. But there we go. Not a bad run, and that was definitely an easy game. Not the easiest though, but, you know, it was a tricky one, because obviously the split bomb was putting on a lot of pressure. They did have Monkey Dories to, you know, try and mitigate some of the damage that we could potentially do. But thanks to Teal Mask and thanks to Mega Meganium, that was a pretty good win. Let's go to game 2. And welcome back to game 2. That was a pretty good game against that guy. I mean, we managed that pretty well, and that's what I mean about the Turo. The Turo not only saved our bacon during that match, but also, you know, we had the options that we did because of that Turo, you know. We didn't find Turo immediately, which did set us back a little bit, with obviously, you know, the split bomb, the biting spree from that Crobat. But ultimately was able to handle that pretty well. And looks like we're going first. I'm not too mad about that, depending on my opening hand. But no, that was a pretty successful opening game, I will say. We started Chikorita, that's not a big deal. And obviously we're going first, so we do get the advantage in that regard. Oh, they're going to hate this matchup. That's Zarok. Alright, well, I'm going to start off with Ultra Ball, getting rid of probably Turo and Boss. Two valuable supporters. Probably should have grabbed a Teal Mask, but it's not a big deal. I'll attach the Chikorita to assert dominance, and I will Burst. Definitely should have grabbed a Teal Mask there, I've just realised. You know, the brain is a bit... this... Well, I wouldn't say it's first thing in the morning, it's not, but... Oh, I'll take that Iono, thank you. I probably thought I had the nuts in hand, trust me, I didn't. Ooh, oh, I wish I'd have played down that forest now. Oh, that's the nuts of a hand. Well, that's still something at the very least. There's an Iono of our own. We will definitely be playing that after I Nest Ball. So I need to do a quick price check as well. So let's have a quick look. The Meganium is in there. All the Meganiums are in there. Nice. The Toad is in there, which is going to be relevant for this matchup. So I might just grab it now. Because obviously they do play a lot of Night Stretcher for recovery. They also do play the occasional Super Rod. I think we're going to grab this though, because this is relevant in this matchup. So yeah, I'm going to do that. And I will just Iono myself. You play Iono, I play Iono. Oh, that is a good draw. Let's go for a bug catching. We'll grab you and you, I think, would be correct. Yes, I think that's fine. So we can go Forest, Ivysaur, Mega Venusaur. I can Teal Dance to this Ogerpon, get an energy down. We can actually attack right now. Like, that's insane. We can do it with in fact no, we can't because we don't have the Meganium down. You know what? Let's assert dominance with Razor Leaf. Because they are grass weak. So that's something to remember. They are grass weak. So this is technically a relevant attack. And if for some reason they have a card that negates any weakness, like if they play that Florges line that my sister played once in a Sibling Sunday episode, yeah. They have their own Toedscruel, so it looks like we're going to be seeing who runs out of resources first. There's the Artisan, and they'll use it. Grabbing the End Zekrom, which is a threat to our Ogerpon, and they will Iono. That is fine. They do need a decent bit, though. They need, obviously, Zoroark. You know, they need a Dark Energy. They need a few other things to, you know, work, but they could still get there. And they do have the attack, that's fine. Obviously, this is a problem because, obviously, you know, we could be in a bad position, but we should be okay because, obviously, we do have the second, you know, we do have the second, what's it called? We do have the second Chikorita in deck, so it's not a big deal. It just means we're going to be asking for a lot, but we can use Teal Mask to attack here, so it's not a big deal. And because they don't have the Toedscool down, which that's a great top deck, we should be fine. So we'll grab the Chikorita out the deck. Genesect isn't going to be relevant here, so I think I'm just going to evolve here. So that cuts off his Night Stretcher, so I might as well play mine now. Because I do need a hand attachment, remember. So we'll go Teal Mask into that. There's Max Rod, but that's not going to be relevant right now. And I will just play the Lillies. Okay, does that help me at all? Not particularly right now, but it does take their energy off the board, which is good. I could threaten Genesect, but I don't think I have a reason to, so let's just go in with the Red Leaf Shower. I'm fine with that. That's a pretty alright turn. We're taking 2 prize cards. And there's Bayleef and Bug Catching Set. That's going to be useful later. Alright, they're going to come up with a Zorua. Ultra Ball. Discarding Turo, which is good. I do like seeing the Turo discarded. Same with the Night Stretcher, because obviously that's why I put the 1-1 Toedscruel line. It's good in this matchup, it's good against Dengo, it's good against a few other decks, so, you know, you do have options here. There's the PP, so they probably do have the attack with the Zekrom. That's fine. They got a Pokepad probably for the Toad. Yep, there it is. That's fine, I think. Depends on how it goes with the draws and stuff, because we do need... So we need to Dawn this turn, because then we can Dawn for Fez, because obviously Fez was in deck. Because we need to draw into Forest of Vitality. And that's what we need to get going. So, because it's the safest promote, I will promote the Venusaur. Let's see what we can get. Well, there's an Ivysaur, but that's not too relevant. So, I'm going to Fin with Artisan first, if I can. Okay, I can't, that's fine. Play the Dawn. Grab Fez. We've already got Meganium in hand, so I might as well grab the Mega. There's a reason why I'm not grabbing that Teal Mask, is because I could potentially draw into it off a Bug Catching set, which I'm going to play now. I might as well take it out of the deck, because that thins it. I can't thin the deck anymore, so we'll go for the Flip the Script. There's the Forest. That's good. It does mean that we're whiffing the attacks. We don't have a we don't have an attack right now, which could be a problem. I mean, I could counter catch the Toad, because it is a 2 retreat cost, and they're unlikely to be playing any outs. Other than that, I could threaten the Genesect, so I'll do that. And I will just pass for now. They could obviously play, you know, like another, you know, Air Balloon, a Turo, you know, things like that. But I'm trying to, like, you know, limit their options here. They're going to get rid of Black Belt, interestingly enough. Now, just to bear in mind, this does reset their Rampaging Thunder, because that is the attack they used. There's Serrano, so they could potentially draw into another Air Balloon if they play it. And they do have the Bear, so we need to be careful of the Bear. Because Bear on Fez equals game. They're going to trade again. Get rid of the Bear. I know someone will be happy about that. Let's see. Because even if they whiff the attack, which they do, which is good, we could still set up our board pretty well. So I'm going to Dawn again. Bin this Ogerpon out, just so I have it. I don't want to bench it though. I'm just going to attach. I think I'll just knock out this Toedscruel, I'll be brutally honest, because that seems fine. Because that way we get our Max Rod back, because obviously our hand is entirely full of Pokemon. So I'm just going to Jungle Dump, take out this Toad, go back into evens, so that way their counter catches are offline. And hopefully we should be fine. If I can Turo this Fez, that would be excellent. But it's highly unlikely we're going to be able to. If they have Boss for the Fez, that's bad. Because how many bosses have they played? They've not played a single boss or a counter catcher. But it is interesting. That's not something I'd see in this list. You know, with Zoroark and everything. It's interesting as well, like, you know, Zoroark is a really good archetype. I just don't think it's going to, like, Zekrom does help it. Ooh, they get rid of Boss. Ooh. But they can't CC, so they have to grab another Boss if they want to use it. I mean, they could just hit the Venusaur. That's something they could do. But if I have, you know, the setup of all time, you could be in a bad position. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Because Secret Box would need to get them PP up, plus, you know, other things. Counter Catcher, Defiance Band, and Iono. Well, 2 of those are not doing anything. There's trade. They're probably going to thin, though. That's probably why they grab them. Yeah, that's what I thought. They're just thinning, which makes sense. And obviously, we need to get this Venusaur out if, you know, we're not going to lose to just a Dark Energy attach. They have the boss. They're going to go for the Meganium, interestingly enough. It's not the attacker I thought you would have gone for, but okay, it makes sense. It does make sense. And they're just going to go straight for the Night Joker. That's fine. Again, because it's our safest promote, we will promote the Venusaur. So let's do that. Okay, there's an Ultra Ball. I don't think I have a Chikorita left. No. Right. Well, it looks like it's going to be a Fezandipiti. We love that. Okay, that's fine. Need to bench this anyway. I can bench the Teal Mask and get an extra draw in. So we'll do that. There's a grass, so we do have the attack. Excellent. Even regards to, you know, not having a Meganium down. And I'm just going to Iono here. It is a big risk, because obviously if they do, you know, have boss still, or if they draw into boss is what I mean, all they will need is, obviously, you know, boss plus, well, in fact, no, they can even do it with Counter Catcher. All they need is Counter Catcher plus a Dark Energy, and I think the game's just bugged out after I went for Jungle Dump. Yeah, I think the game's just bugged out, because I've just gone for Jungle Dump, and it's completely frozen, so we love this client. Oh, there we go. The attack went through. Good. Classic PTCG Live. What do we do about you? Then there's Bug Catch and Set and Forest. They could easily have game. They could obviously, you know, go boss plus, you know, Dark Energy, and well, they must have one in hand. And there's the boss. That means they probably have it. Yep, they have it. GG's. I'm going to give them a little thumbs up. That was a good game. Even though Zoroark, like, is a good matchup for us, they can still come back because of that Zekrom. So, you know, it's not a definitive win. But, you know, that was a pretty good game. You're not even wearing shorts, so I don't know why that's your ending post there. But still, I'll take that L. That was a pretty fun game. Let's go to game 3. And welcome back to game 3. That was a really fun game against Zoroark there. Obviously, I wasn't like, you know, saying, oh, this is free, you know, because of grass weakness. One thing that I've learned throughout playing Pokemon, or like card games in general throughout my lifetime, is never assume a matchup is free. One, it makes you look like a knob because you're being a bit egotistical. But also, two, your opponent can still win. And even with an Iono to 2, they had the boss plus the, you know, the energy to actually do it. So, you know, there's only so much you can do. You know, I think I played it fine, you know, playing the, or going in with Iono, you know, using the Venusaur to attack. It's just a shame we couldn't find a Turo. I would have rather Turo'd for turn rather than playing Iono. Because I'd have Turo'd the Fez up, and then they'd have no chance. They wouldn't have been able to win if I did that, so that was kind of the thought process, but obviously we never found our Turo. Oh no. It's one trio mill. Okay, this is going to be interesting. That does mean, though, Genesect will get some value. I'm probably not gonna bother using this in this matchup, but I could, I guess. Oh no. I mean, like I said, Wog Trio is a relevant deck, believe it or not. Oh boy. And they're using the Dracloak draw engine, pretty standard in these lists. And Badoo. They don't really want to use that though, surely. Oh, they have a switch, I was going to say. They're going to go into Cleffer. Okay, that's fine. I was going to say, because you're going first, you don't really want to be like... Because all I'll say is my Genesect is going to be feeding in this matchup. Because that's one of the cards I want to use in this matchup, is Genesect. It's a really good attacker. You know, it can deal with Wugs, it can deal with Dracloaks, it can deal with Badoo. It can even snipe the Cleffer for just 1 energy if we have Meganium down. And well, there's an Ivysaur, so let's go for a Nest Ball. Let's have a look at the deck. We'll grab a Chikorita first, but then again, no. I think Bulbasaur is more important, but then again, Chikorita is part of our engine, so it's fine. So we've got one Bayleef in the prize cards. We have the Mega in hand, or the Mega in hand. We've obviously got Dawn in hand. Overall, not bad prize cards. So I think I'm just going to Teal dance for now. Okay. So we'll Dawn, grab Bulbasaur, Bayleef Meganium. I think that's fine. We've also prized our Toad, it looks like. Or the baby Toad. Could be an issue, but we will worry about that later. And I'm just going to pass. I didn't check if Genesect was in the deck. I don't think it was. I didn't look. Could be a concern is all I'll say. They're obviously going to be playing, you know, Dracloak to obviously try and, like, you know, draw into stuff. Which is fair enough, you know, they could obviously go Ignition to start off the milling. Or they can, you know, go for Bidoof just to slow me down a little bit. The reason why I didn't play the Ultra Ball is I don't really want to get rid of anything in hand. The only thing I'd want to get, like, if I had to choose, is get rid of Mega Meganium and a Turo, but that could be bad if they play, like, Gravity Gemstone. So that was kind of my, you know, mindset there. And they're just going to Graph Spin Draw, that's fine. There's a Forest. That's actually good for me, though. So we'll do that, do that. I can't attack, but I can at least do that. That's fine. That's completely fine. And I know this deck plays a decent number of hand disruptions, so if we do get hand disrupted, it's not a big deal. It's just I need one more energy to attack with the Teal Mask and start putting some immediate pressure on. And obviously with a double Turo in hand, that's going to be very useful in this matchup. So we're probably going to be here for a bit, but I don't mind. I like seeing Wugtrio and Mill. It's an interesting deck. You know, normally I'd be quite annoyed at seeing a, you know, like a control style deck. But at least Wug, you know, like it's down to a coin flip. You know, it's fairly balanced in that regard. But if it's a heads flip, 3 cards discarded, but trust me, I have seen worse in my lifetime. They're probably just going to go into Bidoof and slow me down, I think. Nope, they're going to go straight into Wug. That means they probably have Ignition. Yep, there it is. And Undersea Tunnel. Let's see what they get. Ooh, 2 heads. That's a painful one. And 2 good supporters gone. That sucks. 2 good supporters and a couple of grass. Yeah, this isn't looking good. I would have liked that grass off the top, I'll be honest, but, well, we're going to be sitting pretty for a little bit, it looks like. Because we're just not finding our grass energy. Oh well, you know, this can happen. It's not the end of the world. And heck, I can even attack with the Meganium in this matchup if I want to, but realistically, I want the Genesect, but I believe he was prized. I didn't look for him, I'll be honest. And obviously I don't want to thin the deck because, you know, makes the most sense to not do it. There will need another Ignition though. But that's fine. There's another Wug. That's fine. I can deal with the Wug. There's another Recon. I think they've whiffed because they wouldn't be using Recon if they didn't have it. Then again, they probably would just to see the extra cards, but, you know. I'm hoping they have whiffed, but still, if they haven't, then it's not a big deal. But I just need a grass off the top and then I can start swinging. That's literally all I need. Even a Night Stretcher would do it, because I can just Night Stretcher back a grass and we'll be golden. So, and yep, there's the pass. Good. Oh, do I really want to play that? It's a bit copious. I mean, I can Ultra Ball away these 2, because I'm never going to need these. I can grab another Chikorita, but then again, I can grab another Teal Mask, so I'm probably going to do that. And yeah, Genesect is prize. I thought it was. We only had the one Bayleef, so it's not worth grabbing you. I would just grab another Teal Mask, I think. Yeah, this feels rough, but I'm going to have to play the Max Rod. And get these boys back. That feels rough, but we've got to do what we got to do. So Teal Dance, that's also very good. Teal Dance again. And that is all I'm going to do, Chiefs, because we're just going to hit 150. I really want Genesect, because Genesect will be so good in this matchup. Well, that'll do. I'm not going to be Teal Dancing anymore, that's for sure. There's Badoo. Badoo's fine. Can deal with Badoo. Because if we can keep pressure on those Wugs, we will be in a good position. But yeah, losing 2 Lilies plus a bug catching, that feels pretty rough, but I can live with that. It's not a big deal. As long as you don't start milling bosses, because we're going to be targeting down those Wugs as much as possible. There's a Night Stretcher. I'm probably going to grab back the Wiglet, if I had to assume. And yep, there's the Wiglet. That's fine. Because they can't recover Ignition Energy with a Night Stretcher, so that's at least something. They're probably just going to Itchy Pollen and slow me down a little bit. Okay, there's Counter Catcher. That's why we kept the Turos. That is fine by me, Chief. I can even, like, you know, get Mega Venusaur. If we top deck boss, I'm probably just going to do that. But that's if we top deck boss. If we don't, it's fine. But, you know, with Quad Counter Catcher, this is going to be a tough list to play around. But that's why I wanted Teal Mass. You know, Meganium can obviously attack and take out a Wug. So that's sort of my thought process in this matchup is, you know, only put down Pokemon that I know I'm going to attack with. You know, I can attack with Ivysaur right now if I wanted to. But, you know, that's assuming I obviously... Well, then again, I can't. I'd have to get double Venusaur down, and that feels kind of rough. They're going to go into with a new active. That probably means they got a mill off. Yeah, they have. They've got a mill. That's fine. There's the Ignition Energy. Obviously, now Reversal's online for them. And Undersea Tunnel. Tails, tails, tails. That's what we like to see. We love to see that. There goes an Ignition. Right, well, that's pretty good for us. So we're going to Ultra Ball away. Meganium and a Grass. We'll grab ourselves the Mega. Evolve to the Mega Venusaur. I'm not even going to bother like Teal Dance or anything like that. I'm just going to move 1, and I'm going to attach from hand, because that way I keep energy on these guys. And we will Jungle Dump for 240. And take out the Wug. This does mean now they're going to have to start benching more Wiglets. And if we can obviously find Turo and stuff, there's a Bayleef. That's really good if we want to attack with this. Which you never know, might have to. But that's what I mean, like, having this option right now, just 4 Grass Energy in play, means we can attack with anything on our board. If they pull this up, that's fine, I use Solar Beam. I don't care. Their counter catchers are not very useful with this board state. The most they can probably do is, like, you know, play, like, Erica's Invitation. But then again, Erica's is from hand. Something like Accompanying Flute would probably be a bit more suitable. There's a Mimikyu. That's probably their attempt to stall me. It's not going to work, Chief, because I would just Turo this, and, well, I have Forest in play. So, you know, not a big deal. I could care less about this Mimikyu. I'm not worried about that at all. And I know there's some people that are going to be happy when this card rotates, but I'm not one of them, because I like Mimikyu. It's a cool Pokemon. I would love one with, like, you know, instead of, like, the Safeguard ability, I would love one that ties into Mimikyu's gimmick, so to speak. So, you know, like, when it takes a hit, its mask, like, deforms or something. Maybe it takes, like, 2 damage counters or something. I don't know, like, it can survive a hit from anything, basically, unless it's an effect of an attack. I don't know, would be a pretty cool card. Could even be an EX, you never know. But anyway, let's see what we can... If they're just going to put the Mimikyu in front of us, I could care, honestly, less. If they go for Itchy Pollen, again, don't care. Let's see what they do. They're probably going to give a Mimikyu. Yeah, that's fine. Not bothered about this at all. Because, like I say, we can just attack with Meganium, so I don't give a shit. I could honestly not care less. So let's Solar Transfer. Move it to the Meganium. Then Turo Venusaur. Then rebench the boys. And Solar Beam for 140. See what I mean? With this board state, I don't care about a Mimikyu. It's not a threat. It genuinely isn't a threat. There's a Toad. That could be useful. But then again, these decks tend to play more Super Rod than they do Night Stretcher. So, I don't know. Is that going to be relevant? And technically, it's a whiff knockout with Toedscruel's attack. So no, I don't think I'm going to put the Toad down in this matchup. It's a two-shot on a Meganium, well, on a Wug. So no, I don't think I want that, personally, anyway. That's my thought anyway, but it's fine. There's Recon again. They're not slow playing, obviously. There is, you know, quite a bit of thought with this deck. They are taking a bit longer their actions than I'd like, but, you know, maybe they're in the deck. I'd imagine they are, you know. Or, like, they're trying to, like, you know, find out the best lines for this deck or something. I'm not sure, but, you know. But like I said, this is the main thing. You want to make sure that you don't put down Pokemon you know you're not going to attack with. Like I said, the Toedscruel's attack only does 80 damage, which is not enough to take out a Dracloak and not enough to take out a Wug. So there's no point us using it. There's Wug. They could still win this if they get triple heads in a row, like, as in, you know, 3 times in a row, which, mathematicians out there, you were that at, I'm not. And Undersea Tunnel. Heads, heads, heads. Oh, that's 9 cards. Okay, well, I'm not bothered about it. I mean, the bosses is annoying, but it's okay. I'm just going to Solar Beam. I have no reason to do anything else. And we'll take another prize card. There's Genesect. Excellent. We can start picking off these wigs. Excellent. That's what we like to see. Because Genesect can obviously start picking them off with just 2 grass energy. Well, the Wigglets. It would need 3 to do a Wugtrio or a Dracloak. So that is fine. We could still lose this though. If they get double heads again, or if they get triple heads twice in a row, we could still lose this. But, you know, we're playing to our outs here. You know, we're attacking with a Meganium. I obviously said I wanted to use Genesect in this matchup, and that's still something I want to do. I could even retreat off a grass and still attack with Genesect quite comfortably and then snipe this Wig. So that's something I want to do. I want to snipe this Wig this turn. If they don't establish another, that is. And if they do. Okay, that's fine. Night Stretcher probably for the Wug, if I had to imagine. Like I say, the reason why I didn't put Toad down is because obviously, you know, it would mean I potentially have to play this Turo again. And like I said, 80 just isn't enough to take out a Wug if I have to attack with it. So that's my thought process here. They will have energy in hand, but that's fine. I'm not bothered about that. It's if they get triple heads, that's when I start to get worried. Double wouldn't... No, double would still win. If it was double then heads, they'd still win. So I need to hope they whiff. There's Wug. That's fine. This is getting a bit close for comfort now. Okay. Oh, that's double heads. They could win off of triple heads. Oh, this is getting uncomfortable now. And well, Ionos have not been played, which is important, but they can still draw into stuff. It does mean that we reset our hands, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bench a Genesect. I'm not going to use it, but obviously I'm just going to Iono here. I'm not going to use the Genesect now, but we can at least Iono, put a couple of cards to the bottom, you know, things like that. And yeah, I'll just Solar Beam, knock this out. They cannot win now. The only way is if they make me draw cards, and, well, unless they're playing Chandelures, that ain't happening, Chief. And if their hand destruction is Lucian, then that's when it gets a bit concerning, but... I think we have this in the wraps now. Now that we draw that Iono off the top, or drew that Iono off the top, you know, I think we're fine here. They don't have a win con, and, well, they're probably just going to play it out anyway, and I don't blame them, you know, they've come this far, but Unfortunately, the Meganium Solar Beam is just too strong. Obviously, we've not been able to use the Mega in this matchup, but the Mega's kind of bad in this matchup. So, just bear that in mind. It's not great in this. I mean, it can attack, but obviously, you know, I'd rather have Venusaur because it's more versatile. Okay, they're going in with Mimikyu, but Mimikyu doesn't do anything for you. I have 2 single prizes. And if you try and trap, I will just go for Genesect for game. Night Stretcher back, probably a Wig. Or Wug, sorry. I think they're going to go for the mill regardless, but they can't win here, so I'm not sure what they're doing. Like, the only thing they can do is find a Pokemon that's like 140 HP or more, or 150 HP or more, like a Blood Moon Ursaluna or something. Let's counter catcher. I think that's part of their plan. They're going to bring up the Venusaur, but then I just win with Genesect. And even then, I can just go into the Meganium again. So, you don't win from here, my friend. I'm afraid. I'll do it with Bug's Cannon as well. In fact, no, I'll do it with Speed Attack. That's more of a certain dominance attack. Because obviously we only need 2 grass on this to do Speed Attack. And we can take out a Mimikyu. Yeah, I don't know what my opponent's playing at. Like, they are in the realm of solo playing, but, well, they don't win, you know. I don't see why you took that long just to go for a mill because you can't win. I can just solo transfer. Could mill a max of 9 cards, so, you know. And well, with that mill, you don't win. Sorry to say. Unlike my opponent, I'm not going to waste his time. I'm just going to go for the solo transfer. Move both off the Meganium. And Jungle Dump for 240 and take game. Nice, comfortable win, thanks to Iono. Iono saved our bacon there, because we could have potentially lost that game without that Iono. But there we go, that is a win against Wugtrio Mill. I will take that. Fair enough, we didn't use the Mega Meganium, but we didn't need to. Like I always say, there are a time and a place for, you know, doing certain Pokemon in a matchup, and that's... Again, that's kind of why I didn't put that Toad in the match, because obviously it can only do 80 damage, which, you know, it can deal with Mimikyu, but it can't deal with a Wug or a Dracloak, so that was kind of my thought process. And obviously with our double boss being milled, that is obviously what influenced that decision, because if I'd still had double boss and maybe had them in hand, you know, I wouldn't have minded, because I could have attacked with the Toad, take out Cleffa, you know, take out the Pidoo, things like that, and still take prize cards. But ultimately, that's just something you have to consider if you are going to play that matchup. But anyway, so, what did I think to the deck? This deck feels really strong, and having the Mega Meganium, as we saw in the first game, feels really good, and, you know, we have a lot of options in that regard. Obviously, the second game, we couldn't have really utilised it, because we had the same problem that we did with the Venusaur approach, which is, of course, you know, they can just boss with Zekrom now. And even with an Iono to 2, they still had it. But ultimately, I think this deck is really strong. Is it going to be meta post-rotation? Probably is, actually, I think. At least in my opinion, anyway. Because, you know, it doesn't lose a huge amount if you think about it. Because the main thing it will lose is obviously Iono for hand disruption. But then you just play Judge, so it's not a big deal. The other thing you lose as well is Toad. But Toad isn't as relevant because obviously Goldengo dies to rotation. Other than that, really, I can't really think of anything that, like, you know, definitively holds this deck back in rotation. You know, like, Kangbox could be a trouble, but obviously you have the Teal Mass for, you know, going into big damage. You know, you have the Mega Meganium for, obviously, the big damage. Like I said in the decklist part, my only complaint is I would love a 3-3-3 line of Meganium. But again, that is something that you have to think about, because then that adds more clunkiness to the deck. You add more Pokemon, you reduce inconsistency. So, you know, there is stuff to think about that. But anyway, really hope you enjoyed seeing Mega Meganium with the Mega Venusaur package in action, and I will see you all on the next one.